like I was telling you, so as many of you, as you know, Osama Bin Laden is dead. A lot of you might know the circumstances. He was living in a city called Abbottabad in Pakistan, which makes it pretty clear that they were, they were aware of the fact that Osama Bin Laden was there, because this city is it's a tourist attraction in Pakistan.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's not. He was not hiding in a cave where, like people were saying and all that. He was in a very
living lavish.
Yes. Of course, he didn't have, many of the. He didn't have a cell phone, an internet, and they were very good at hiding a lot of their traces. But and they were living less than a mile away from a military academy.
Wow. Okay.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So I wanted to, we all know the details, but I wanted to discuss some things that I happen to come across, especially in Facebook, in Twitter, people discussing these type of topics. So he was found unarmed, and he was still shot.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question, Lily. Do you think, and also I would like to ask Mr. Burns, if you can set up your mic, B, so that right after Lily, you can tell me what you think. But do you think he should have been killed even though he was not armed?
No, I don't think he should have been killed, even though he wasn't armed. I feel I'm not the type. I don't really believe like in the death penalty, or I don't feel like an eye for an eye. Like I wouldn't agree with it, so I wouldn't say. I mean, I understand where a lot of people are like, well, he is the culprit of 9/11, and he deserves to die, or this is how he should repay. But I don't necessarily feel that killing someone is the way to go about serving justice.
And I heard that actually from a lot of people, so it's I'm not gonna say that I'm surprised by your response. B, you tell me, what is it that you think?
I think it was the only option that they had.
To kill him, but
Es porquería. If they caught him and brought him over here, it would have been a symbol. The burial at sea, everything I believe is appropriate once you weigh out everything. The guy was a monster, and the only thing he represented was Muslims in a bad light. And I think by getting rid of him in this fashion, they can move on to a different type of symbol.
Okay, so I hear what Mr. Burns is saying. Now, I personally think that he shouldn't have been killed since he was unarmed. You know what I mean? I feel that decision was not up to the soldiers to decide. You know what I mean? Where if the situation, they had to weigh the pros and the cons, and I don't think that was up to. That's why we have a judicial system in this country, and I think that regardless how bad the criminal is, how bloody he can be, how evil he can be, every person deserves to go through the judicial process. You know what I mean?
I disagree.
And that's why
Charles Manson should be dead. Come on.
Yeah,
at one point, everybody has to realize 3,000 lives were lost.
Yeah, but
at some point, everybody has to realize to put any kind of effort into fighting for the rights of a cat who had nothing but malintentions in his heart is a waste of any politically activist. It's just a waste of time.
Yeah, but
3,000 lives, over 3,000 lives are gone.
I know, but law doesn't discriminate. You see what I'm saying? The law does not look at
common
an
sense
individual.
does. Common sense does.
But
if I stab you in the heart for whatever reason, I just stabbed you in the heart, Chico.
And you will go through a process. You know what I mean? Where you will have a lawyer. You will go through a judge, and that judge will decide whether you need to go to.
We actually need somebody to tell us that he was guilty of doing something like this. We have to have. Come on.
No,
it's common sense.
But no.
People need something to talk about. They need to complain about something.
But you don't leave that power up to somebody. You know what I mean? Somebody else. You don't leave that power up to a soldier to decide whether he was, because you don't know how far they could take it. You know what I mean? Like today is Osama Bin Laden. Tomorrow is somebody who to them.
Let's worry about tomorrow.
Tomorrow is okay. That's not really good. But tomorrow they say that Assange, the guy from WikiLeaks, is a terrorist, and he deserves to be dead as well.
He hasn't killed anybody. Come on, you comparing apples and oranges.
Okay, but then George Bush killed a lot of innocent civilians, and because of George Bush policies in Iraq and the war in Iraq, that was completely unnecessary, where Saddam Hussein was not a threat to the United States. A lot of innocent lives were lost in Iraq. All
right, so let's go after George W. Bush. Quit fucking around with Osama Bin Laden and why they killed him. People give up for the real fight and they go for the obvious fight, which is stupid. Go after George W. At least get him in jail.
Well, at least Mr. Burns keeps it real. You know, he's in favor of killing Osama Bin Laden, but he's also in favor of somebody killing George Bush, even if he's unarmed. So, okay, well, I at least, you know, he's keeping it real. I understand that. Now, personally, like I told you, I think that everybody deserves to be put in front of a judge, everybody deserves a lawyer, and everybody deserves to go through this process. That's why we set him up.
Exactly.
We not set him up so we can selectively choose who's evil and who deserves to die right away, and who we need to put through this process. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, so that's what I personally believe. Now, the other question is, should we celebrate his death? And I'm gonna be honest on this. My answer is a little bit. I'm a little bit torn in this situation, but there's definitely people who feel like people shouldn't celebrate their death. Now, I already see Mr. Burns laughing. I already see him like, what
You
the
over here tripping about them shooting.
But let me ask.
Oh, I don't know if I should party.
Oh, let me ask
Come
Lily
on.
first. Then I ask you.
Well, I
So-
think that even if he's not there, like it's a system, it's set out. I'm sure that it's very well organized. So him not being there, it doesn't mean that Al Qaeda and his establishment isn't there. It's still existing. So I don't feel like this is like a complete, like okay, the threat is over. So I don't feel like you would be celebrating much. You know how you said like it was an easy target of the way that they found him. He wasn't a threat. So there's still this establishment that.
But it was definitely an achievement, though. You know, the head of this organization. That I got my own reservations whether Al Qaeda is really a threat or not. I mean, the only attack that we had has been with attacks on 9/11, and that happened because George Bush let it happen. You know,
And that's what I was going to ask you, like, if you believe in a lot of these, like, conspiracy theories. I know that there's a lot of films, like Fahrenheit 9/11, and they don't credit 9/11,
Yeah, I know. I think they let it happen. I don't think there were missiles, there were not airplanes. I don't believe all of that. But I do believe that they knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
They let it happen, and it's part of the neoliberal ideal that in this type of crisis, this becomes an opportunity for you to advance a lot of your political agendas.
Exactly.
And they definitely took a lot of advantage of.
Definitely. I mean,
9/11.
during that time, our civil liberties, like we were stripped of our civil liberties. The image of Muslims and what we have in our minds, it's completely has been.
And that was also part of their agenda to create a monster,
Exactly.
an outside enemy
Yeah,
that we
exactly.
could all unite and fight against. You know what I mean?
Immigration too, the way that
And
the
it's funny-
effects of immigration because after 9/11.
And it's funny that you bring that up because people are saying that, because first that outside enemy was Russia. Then when that ended, it was terrorism. And supposedly this is going to come to an end. And the next big evil that we all have to fight against is going to be illegal immigration.
Yeah, and
That's what people say.
which they have already been, constructing in a
Now-
certain way
So,
during.
so, okay, Mr. Burns, so what do you think about, should we celebrate the death of Osama Bin Laden?
No.
Mr. Burns, do you have a heart, Mr. Burns?
I think
You feel
celebrating is
compassion.
stupid. It's idiotic.
Oh, really?
What are you celebrating?
Oh, okay. So you don't think there's a point? I see. When I was talking, I was.
There's nothing to celebrate. Move on. Move on.
Okay, I was talking about in the sense because a lot of people have said to me, you know what, you don't want to celebrate a death, regardless of who it is. You know what I mean?
In that respect, I do believe, as you do, that every life is somewhat, respected. You don't celebrate a death, but some cats need to be taken out.
Yeah, I think that yes, you shouldn't celebrate the death of a person. You know what I mean? But I mean, what you can't acknowledge the fact that somebody who wanted to, because he was a terrorist. I'm not gonna take he was a terrorist in the eyes of everybody. You know what I mean? And I think that there's definitely a joy that comes from knowing that at least the head of this organization that wanted to kill a lot of innocent civilians in the United States is gone. And if you I don't know about going to the streets and cheering type of thing. People do it. Respect. I don't see it as something wrong. I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? But there's definitely a joy that comes from knowing that this person is no longer with us. And so that's what I wanted to say about that. Now let's move on.